6 subtle signs an elderly person may be in the final year of life. Gentle messages from the body. This is something we rarely talk about, the final stretch of life's journey. But the truth is, the body often whispers before it says goodbye. These signs can begin months, even a year before passing. Recognizing them isn't about fear. It's about awareness. It's about cherishing the time we have left, embracing it with love, peace, and presence. 1. Unexplained weight loss. A quiet shift in the body's rhythm. One of the first and often most overlooked signs that someone may be entering their final chapter in life is a noticeable change in weight, particularly weight loss that happens without any effort or intention. You might begin to notice that clothes feel a little looser than before. Favorite sweaters that once fit just right now drape over the shoulders. Rings that once fit snugly might start slipping off the fingers, and the face may appear slightly more hollow or defined. These changes can be subtle at first, but gradually become more apparent. This kind of weight loss isn't due to dieting or exercise. It's not a result of any conscious change in eating habits. Instead, it's the body's natural way of slowing down. As we move into later stages of life, the body often requires less energy. Metabolism slows, digestion changes, and the internal systems begin to prioritize what is truly essential. In some cases, nutrients aren't absorbed as efficiently as they once were. In others, the appetite fades, not because of illness or sadness, but simply because the body no longer calls for the same kind of nourishment it once did. You may find that food doesn't taste quite the same anymore. Meals that once brought joy might now feel like a chore. Perhaps after just a few bites, you already feel full. And that's okay. It's important not to fight this shift, but to gently work with it. Instead of large, overwhelming meals, focus on small, comforting portions. A few spoonfuls of warm soup, a slice of soft fruit, or a cup of creamy yogurt. The goal is not to force the body to eat, but to offer it care and ease. Hydration also plays a key role. Even if the desire to eat is low, sipping water, tea, or broth throughout the day can help the body feel more comfortable and supported. And just as important as the food itself is the experience of eating. Sharing a meal with someone, even in silence, can be far more nourishing than the meal alone. Food becomes less about calories and more about connection, warmth, and presence. If someone offers to sit beside you while you eat, let them. If you live alone, consider playing soft music, lighting a candle, or simply taking a moment to be still. Eating can become a gentle ritual, a quiet act of self-love, even in the smallest bites. This stage is not about numbers on a scale. It's about comfort, dignity, and listening to the wisdom of your body. 2. Deep fatigue that rest doesn't fix. As we move through the later stages of life, there often comes a kind of tiredness that feels different, not the sort that disappears with a nap or a good night's sleep. This is a deep, persistent fatigue that doesn't seem to ease, no matter how much rest we get. You might wake up in the morning after a full night's sleep and still feel like you haven't rested at all. Even simple things like getting dressed, having a conversation, or walking from one room to another can suddenly feel like major tasks. This isn't just ordinary tiredness. It's your body's quiet way of saying that it's redirecting its energy. In the final chapter of life, the body naturally starts to conserve what little energy it has, using it only for the most essential functions, like keeping your heart beating, your lungs breathing, and your mind steady. It begins to let go of the need to perform or push through, choosing instead to protect and preserve. You might find yourself sitting more often, lying down during the day, or needing longer moments of stillness between activities. You may pause before standing up, feel winded after small tasks, or prefer to stay in one place rather than move around. This can be frustrating, especially if you were once someone who was always active, always busy. But it's important to remember, this isn't a failure. This isn't weakness. It's simply a natural shift. Now more than ever, it's essential to listen to your body. If it asks for rest, give it rest, not out of defeat, but out of deep respect for all that it has done for you. Give yourself permission to slow down, to take breaks often, and to do things in smaller steps. There is no need to rush. There is no need to keep up. This is also a time to let others support you. Maybe you've spent most of your life taking care of everyone else. Now is the time to let that love come back to you. Let people help. Let them bring you a cup of tea, adjust your pillows, or simply sit with you. You don't need to carry it all alone. And always remember this. You don't have to do anything to be worthy. You are enough, right now as you are. Your value lies not in what you can accomplish, but in who you are, in the love you've given, and the life you've lived. Simply being here is more than enough. 3. Withdrawing from social interaction. There may come a time when the joy of conversation begins to fade, and the once familiar comfort of being around others starts to feel overwhelming. Talking, listening, even just being present in a lively room might take more effort than it used to. Where once you eagerly answered phone calls, joined family dinners, or chatted with neighbors on the porch, you may now find yourself declining invitations, turning off the ringer, or seeking quiet instead. This shift often catches loved ones off guard. They might ask, "Are you okay?" or worry that something is wrong. But what many don't realize is that this change is not always a sign of sadness or depression. Rather, it can be a gentle and natural part of the body's preparation, a quiet turning inward as energy becomes more limited. You may find yourself longing for solitude, not because you're unhappy, but because peace and stillness now offer more comfort than noise and conversation. The mental and emotional energy it takes to follow a story, respond to questions, or even smile politely can suddenly feel like too much. And that's okay. Your body and spirit may be gently guiding you toward a slower pace. One where silence speaks louder than words and stillness carries more meaning than movement. This change doesn't mean you've stopped caring about those you love. In fact, the love remains just as strong. It simply expresses itself in different ways. You may find more peace in sitting quietly by someone's side than engaging in long conversations. You might enjoy hearing familiar voices from the next room, or feeling the warmth of a hand in yours, even without exchanging words. These quiet forms of connection are no less meaningful. In many ways, they're even more profound. For loved ones witnessing this shift, the best thing to offer is presence, not pressure. There's no need to fill the silence with words, or insist on activity. Sometimes just sitting nearby, holding a hand, or sharing a cup of tea in silence can be more comforting than any conversation. Withdrawing from social interaction isn't about giving up. It's about listening inward, honoring the body's need for calm, and finding grace in stillness. If you or someone close to you is experiencing this change, know that it is part of a natural, beautiful slowing down. The love is still there. The connection remains. It just lives more quietly now. 4. More frequent illness and slower recovery. As we grow older, one of the most noticeable changes in the body is how it responds to illness and injury. Things that once felt minor, a small cut, a seasonal cold, a bruise, may now take longer to heal. What used to disappear in a matter of days might linger for weeks. You may find that you're catching colds more often, or that you feel under the weather without a clear reason. Even small infections, like a mild cough or a skin irritation, can take more time and energy to recover from. This is not a sign that you're doing something wrong. It's a reflection of how the body naturally slows down in its later stages. Over the years, your immune system has worked tirelessly to protect you from illness, to repair injuries, and to keep everything running smoothly. But just like every part of the body, the immune system eventually becomes less efficient. It begins to focus its remaining energy on maintaining only the most essential functions, like keeping your heart steady and your lungs breathing gently. This shift means the body isn't as quick to fight off infections or heal wounds. And that's okay. It's not something to be afraid of. It's simply a part of the natural cycle of life. Rather than trying to push through or fight against these changes, this is a time to focus on comfort, care, and gentleness. Staying warm, well-hydrated, and rested can make a big difference in how you feel each day. Wearing cozy clothes, using soft blankets, and drinking warm beverages like tea or broth can support your body in quiet, nurturing ways. Moisturizing your skin, especially in dry weather, can help prevent cracks and sores. Little acts of care become powerful, not because they cure, but because they comfort. And perhaps most importantly, this is a time to accept help without guilt or hesitation. Let someone bring you a warm drink. Let them help you get dressed, or sit beside you while you rest. You are not a burden. Allowing others to care for you is a gift to them as much as it is to you. It opens the door for love to flow both ways. You've spent a lifetime giving, nurturing, and showing up for others. Now allow that same love to return to you. Not because you're weak, but because you deserve to be held with the same care you've always given so freely. 5. Changes in breathing and circulation. As the body begins to slow down in its final chapter, one of the most noticeable and often subtle changes is in how we breathe and how blood circulates throughout the body. These changes can appear gradually and may be easily overlooked at first, yet they are gentle indicators that the body is entering a new, quieter rhythm. You may begin to notice that your hands and feet feel cooler than usual, even when the room is comfortably warm. This is because the body is prioritizing its energy and redirecting blood flow to the most vital organs, such as the heart, lungs, and brain. With less circulation to the outer parts of the body, the extremities may feel cold or appear slightly pale or bluish in color. This shift is not dangerous in itself. Rather, it's part of the body's natural way of conserving energy for its essential functions. Breathing may also change. It can become slower, shallower, and at times there may be brief pauses between breaths. This can feel a bit unsettling to observe or experience, but it's important to understand that this is usually not painful or distressing. In fact, many people nearing the end of life describe a sense of calm and peace during this phase, as the body quietly and instinctively reduces its physical demands. To support more comfortable breathing during this time, small adjustments can make a significant difference. Sitting in a slightly elevated position, for example, propped up with a few soft pillows, can help ease the pressure on the lungs and allow for a more natural, relaxed breathing rhythm. Using a humidifier or placing a small fan nearby to gently move air can also help if the air feels dry or heavy. Sipping on cool water or herbal tea throughout the day can soothe the throat and reduce any dryness that may accompany shallower breathing. These shifts in breathing and circulation are not signs of failure. They are signs of transition. The body is doing what it knows how to do, gently winding down, step by step. It is letting go with grace, releasing the need to push, and allowing rest to take the lead. If you or someone you love is experiencing these changes, let presence be the response. There is no need for panic or intervention. Simply being nearby, offering a hand to hold or a calm voice, can bring deep comfort. In this stillness, we are reminded that even as the body slows, love remains steady, deep, and unshaken. 6. A deepening reflection on the past. As the body begins to slow down, the mind often starts to journey backward, not out of confusion, but as a natural, soulful process of remembering and reconciling. You may notice that conversations begin to revolve more around earlier times in life. Childhood memories, old friends, long-past loved ones, or stories that haven't been told in years. This kind of reflection isn't random. It's often a deeply intuitive response to the awareness, conscious or unconscious, that life is beginning to reach its final chapter. In these moments, the heart seeks peace, closure, and meaning. We return to the people and places that shaped us. We speak names we haven't said in decades. We revisit joys and regrets, laughter and sorrow, milestones and mistakes. Sometimes this looks like sharing stories with family members, wanting them to know something about the way it was, or about someone important who came before them. Other times, it may simply be quiet contemplation, where the person seems to drift inward, eyes gazing at something far beyond the room. They may ask about people who have passed, or even speak as if those people are still close by. This is not something to be alarmed by. It's not always a sign of confusion or cognitive decline. In fact, it can be a profoundly spiritual and emotional experience, a way of preparing, settling the heart, and tying up the loose ends of a life well lived. It's a sign that the soul is turning inward, not away, but toward something deeper. As someone listening, your role is not to interrupt or redirect. Just be present. Let them talk. Let them remember. Even if you've heard the same story a dozen times, know that telling it might bring them a sense of comfort or clarity. Sometimes they're not seeking a response at all, just someone who will truly hear them. When you sit and listen to someone reflect on their past, you're giving them a precious gift, the chance to feel seen, heard, and known. And in return, you may receive a gift of your own. Glimpses into history, into love, into what really mattered in the end. So when these memories start to surface, welcome them. Allow space for the reflection. And remember that often, these stories are not just about the past. They're also part of preparing for peace in the present. These signs are not something to fear. They are not warnings of doom, but quiet whispers from the body and soul, saying, slow down. Be present. Prepare. Treasure the time that remains. Whether you're seeing these changes in yourself or in someone you love, please know this. You are not alone on this path. Each sign is a gentle reminder that life, in its final chapter, asks us to live not with urgency, but with intention, to notice the small things, to share the quiet moments, to hold hands a little longer, to say the words that matter, and to allow stillness to be sacred. If you're caring for someone in this stage of life, remember, your presence is the most powerful gift you can offer. It's not always about doing more. Sometimes the greatest act of love is simply being there, sitting in silence, listening without trying to fix, offering a warm blanket, a soft touch, or just your calm, steady presence. Let these final days, whether they last a year, a few months, or just a handful of sunsets, be filled with dignity, peace, and love. Allow grace to fill the spaces where words fall short. And trust that even in the slowing down, even in the letting go, there is still beauty. There is still meaning. There is still love. If this message spoke to you, if it brought comfort, reflection, or understanding, I invite you to let me know in the comments. Your thoughts truly matter and help guide the heart of this channel. And if you'd like to continue walking through these meaningful conversations with me, please consider liking this video and subscribing to the channel. It's a simple act, but it helps us stay connected and share these quiet, important truths with others who may need them too. Until next time, take care of yourself and those you love. You are not alone. You are deeply valued, and you are deeply loved.